Mayor Tuck probably has about 15 more events today, but we appreciate you finding the importance in each one of them. This certainly is one. Certainly is one. He mentioned Jerry Hollins. And so it's a perfect segue right now for a tribute to Jerry Hollins and to find out a little bit more about the Contraband Historical Society that's brought us all here today for this gathering. So we want to welcome up now Dr. Bill Wiggins to give us more information about the society and Jerry Hollins especially.
Thank you very much, good sister Anita Blanton. I'm running around not because there's anything important about me, but trying to make sure that the fires get put out where they need to be put out. It's so good to see everyone. Habaragani. Habaragani. Which means, what is the news? In Swahili, what is the news? The news is we are here. And umojo. What's emojo? Unity. Unity. Swahili words. Among the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. Among those principles. I'll be candid. Didn't have much time to prepare. Busy as can be. But a mic in the hands of a historian is dangerous. But it won't be long. I can tell jokes too, but I'm not going to do that today. Let me get my mind and mouth in gear here. Thank you once again for coming out. You could be someplace else, but you chose to be here. The Contraband Historical Society was organized in 1997, and we still have a number of the organizing members here. And I will pay tribute to them. Some have fallen by the wayside for whatever reason, and we don't dismiss their involvement early on. But let me call them out very quickly by name. Contraband Historical Society organizing members. Philip Adderley, wave your hand or stand up. Where are you? He's in the back there. 1997. I'm going to call all the names, even if they're not here. Jennifer Adderley, Dr. Patricia Sloan Elston, Robert Elston, Cynthia Hodges. I know she's here. There she is over there in the shirt, 1997. My good sister Jerry Hollins, and she's looking down on us, smiling, fussing, but smiling. But Bill, you didn't do that quite right. I said, come on now, Sister Jerry. Come on. Cut me some slack. Sandra Johnson, Verna Roberts, Virgie Washington, Robert Watson, my colleague at Hampton University. He's not here today. Sister Elnora Welbeck, not here today. And Dr. P.B. Welbeck. Those are the founding members of the Contraband Historical Society. I've become lately, but got into it with both hands and both feet, and haven't gotten out, and have no intention to get out. The first commemoration was actually held in 1998, a year after. There was also a Contraband Slaves Memorial Service on the 7th of August, 1999, and a Contraband Memorial Dinner on the 8th of August, 1999. That was at First Baptist Church. You know much about First Baptist Church? If not, I'll brag just for one moment, quickly. We have here the interim pastor of First Baptist Church. He is the one who gave the prayer. First Baptist Church is the first so-called colored independent church in Hampton, Virginia. October 1863. I won't go into detail. I don't know where I stand within my house of prayer, but I rewrote the history, and the first pastor doesn't exist. But I'm going to leave that alone at this point in time. Leave that alone. But and that's part of the very important history. Many Contraband became members. It wasn't Contraband members who organized the church. It was individuals like Thomas Peake, Mary Peake's husband. Individuals like William Roscoe Davis, and we have a great-great-grand here who's going to speak to you as well. And First Baptist Church grew out of Hampton Baptist Church. So even before the independent colored church. There was a colored church inside of Hampton Baptist, believe it or not. There was a church within a church. I found that out, and I said, how can that be? But that's the way it was. And the Contraband Historical Society will continue to commemorate on the 24th of May the actual decision made by Major General Benjamin Franklin Butler not to return Shepard Mallory, Frank Baker, and James Townsend to their enslaver, Charles King Mallory, after whom a street is named. I'll talk to the mayor about that later on. I know. I'm always starting trouble, so they say. Good trouble. Good trouble. But everything in its own and proper place. Let's put it that way. So join us on the 24th of May. I'm putting in a plug now. We hope to have a candlelight vigil recognizing those individuals on the actual date that things occurred. You have information about the mission statement in your program, so I'm not going to talk about that. And you also have somewhat of a history of the outbreak of the Civil War in your program, so I'm not going into detail there, other than to say, it still pains me immensely as a historian who's looked at it relatively closely, having no choice but to do so, given my advisor was the premier historian of Civil War history, James McPherson at Princeton, so had to learn about it even if I really didn't want to. But the bloodiest, most disturbing, disconcerting war in the history of these United States. Over 600,000 individuals killed. Brothers fighting brothers. Cousins fighting cousins. And we still see the vestiges of it today. I'm not going into that detail. There are many issues. We know that. Just look in the newspaper. That's all we have to do. Look at Jefferson Davis Memorial Park. Yes, I said it. So I'm emboldened by our superintendent, but he knows even if he didn't say certain things that are emboldening, I would say it anyway. But moving on to my sister and summarizing. Sister Jerry Hollins, Louise Geraldine Jerry Hollins, born in the same year I was born. So we would joke about that from time to time. And we communicated frequently. I reminded her that we're all on the battlefield together. Let's not do, as President Obama said recently, get in a circle with a sword, slicing everybody up. Let's work together here. Don't fire anybody, Sister Jerry Hollins. Don't fire anybody. And let me acknowledge her sister who is here today. She doesn't know I was going to do that. Sister Brenda Stokes, would you stand, please? This is her sister. And she has roots here at Fort Monroe, or as they say in my neighborhood, she has roots. We have another relative. Oh, I'm going to stand on up, my brother. Her brother. Okay, cousin. Okay, a cousin. It's wonderful to keep the extended family together. Jerry, again, was born the 15th of May, 1947 in Newport News. And she was so gifted, it's beyond realization for many individuals. And she was a singer, could sing opera, anything you wanted to. And my children were a part of the Apple Tree group that she established, a 501c3. My daughter sang pretty well, etc. The other one didn't, but she was in it as well. And one day she picked up a trumpet. I said, "You play a trumpet?" She says, "Yes." And she's playing the trumpet and playing the piano at the same time. And I'm saying, "Come on, Sister Hollins." So that embarrassed me, so I didn't bring my trumpet the next time. I said, "Nope, leave my trumpet alone." And you know of her brother, Everett Hollins, who was a trumpeter par excellence. So we communicated for extensive periods of time, as I said. Unfortunately, dawn came one day, and then sunset came one day. And I had seen her just 2 days before that, and she was still saying, "Contraband, Wiggins, contraband, contraband." And I said, "Yes, ma'am. I will always keep that in mind and in my heart, because without them, there would not have been a Benjamin Franklin Butler with Shepard Mallory, Frank Baker, and James Townsend. There may have been another general or someone, but they were the catalyst. That's why it annoys me, and I'll say it every time Major General Benjamin Franklin Butler is mentioned, hallelujah. But every time they say 3 slaves or enslaved individuals, those men had names. I'm saying that right now. Mention their names, all right? Shepard Mallory, Frank Baker, and James Townsend. They were human beings. And I resent their being objectified. No, I mean, objectification has no place with me. Everybody knows that. To sum up, Jerry was also a great teacher as well. She was an activist. We know that even when she suffered from a stroke, she kept going. And when people were in her way, she'd take the cane and poke them. Get out of the way. That was my sister Jerry. In closing, let me say that many people have paid tribute to my departed sister, who I will see again and will understand it better by and by. So as they say, Charles Albert Tindley, I'll leave it there for now. That's the deacon coming out in me. Can't leave that aside. As Molly Ward said, former mayor of Hampton, she said, quote, speaking of Jerry, she was the keeper of the flame and the genesis of why we have a national monument at Fort Monroe today. She pushed that. She pushed that. We pushed with her. And don't get mad, Chief Lieutenant Brown, but
why are you picking on me?
Because, or anyone else here, but I still regret that she was not in that picture at the White House with President Barack Hussein Obama, because everybody slips in at the last moment after all the work is done. But she was one of the main catalysts for that. And I want you to keep that in mind. Do not forget her. Please don't forget her. Thank you. I want to read the quote by the superintendent of Fort Monroe, the Fort Monroe Authority. He could not be with us today, Glenn Oder, but he gave a very similar and glowing tribute. And I will say this: we're all in this together. We either sail together or we sink. And as a historian of psychohistory and race relations, history is cyclical. We're going in circles, going in circles. It's not quite as bad as it was in some instances, but we learn from history that we do not learn. And I just ask everyone to consider the reality that we are our own brothers and sisters keepers. We're all 99.9% human beings or related to each other. Let's put it that way, human beings, obviously. So let's try to do as Rodney King said. Can we all get along? Thank you.